Gruesome Magazine.
Welcome to Decades of Horror, the 1970s.
In the future, you'll have my life of vice on your conscience. And when I lay some delicious pig, I'll think what I'm laying the blame on your shoulders, Buster. And that'll be my revenge. That's what.
Oh my, this is episode 139, recorded May 5th, 2021. And everything's out of order. I am your host, Doc Rodden, and this podcast is about horror films released between 1970 and 1979. Each episode, my co-host Jeff Mohr and I will tackle another classic or not so classic film from this wondrous, groovy, gory, and influential decade. Tonight, we are reviewing Demon Witch Child from 1975, a film you may not know exists.
And you've been better off being in that way.
All right. Joining me tonight are my co-host, and starting off with the one and only Jeff Mohr. Jeff, how you doing, sir?
And we are here to ruin your state of blissful ignorance.
That is true.
About this film.
Introduce
I'm doing great.
Into a gem. All right. Also joining us is Bill Mulligan, writer, director, special effects guru, and say it with me, all around nice guy. How you doing, Bill?
I was doing better till I watched this movie.
Oh my God, you guys are killing me. All right. Also joining us tonight is Chad Hunt, comic book artist and co-host of Decades of Horror, Classic Air, among many others. How you doing, Demon Witch Chad?
Well.
Yes. Yes.
I've never watched a movie and had my genitalia draw up like a Crown Broil bag while I was watching.
That's
until now.
That's a visual. I'm really kind of frightened of visualizing.
It is what it is.
Yes.
Someone get me alcohol.
Oh no! Don't put alcohol on that shriveled up thing. All right.
You guys aren't nice.
Not at all. Not at all.
No.
All right. What film are we talking about? What is this nonsense? This is Demon Witch Child from 1975, originally called a Spanish name that I'm not going to try to pronounce. It was released March 3rd, 1975 in Spain, May 1976 in the US of A. Right, written and directed by Amando de Ossorio. The cast includes Julián, Mateos, Miriam Salgado, Fernando Sancho, Lone Fleming, Angel Del Pozo, probably pronounced that wrong, Kelly Hansa, Daniel Martin, and Toda Alba. Tagline says, "Good and evil battle for the possession of the innocent." And then there's a bigger one on the poster. That's fun. Synopsis is: a young girl becomes possessed by a woman from the witch's cult who seeks vengeance, terror, and confusion around her family.
Mostly confusion.
Yeah. Vengeance and terror isn't enough. I got to confuse them.
I know. Isn't that? I'm so confused.
What is it? Yeah. What does that mean? You're like, I'm going to wear my socks outside my shoes. They won't know what's going on.
They won't. Yeah, it's also known as the Possessed, right? The Possessed.
Yeah, it's known by a bunch of things. We kind of went down a rabbit hole. Look at that poster. What? Let's see. Now see the greatest shock in the world. It's a damnable lie.
So we got a couple of them here.
Oh yeah. I mean,
the one you had before was the first one you had.
I like that one.
Was, I think you're in trouble if you're trying to sell it based on compared to Beyond the Door, because I'm not sure that had a huge audience.
Yeah, but it's
Horrified by Beyond the Door. I don't know. We won't get into that discussion. All right, so
I'm not saying Beyond the Door is a bad movie. I'm just saying I'm not sure that it was really well known. So I'm not. That might have kind of.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know. For some reason, I think it is, but that's all right. Amando de Ossorio is a director known for Tomb of the Blind Dead, the Blind Dead series, and which is one of the reasons this movie was chosen. Let's see some of his other work. Shit. Now that that's done, let's stop. All right.
We shouldn't go any further.
In fairness, I was talking to Doc about this. There's some filmmakers who, they can do great stuff with a big budget, but even if they have a small budget, they're able to knock it out of the park. And maybe he's just not that guy. I don't think any of the Blind Dead movies had a huge budget, but I think they had more than this one did. I mean, I feel like with this, he really was working with very little, and it just didn't work.
Yeah, this one also might have been rushed to cash in on the trend, but
That does look a little
yeah,
rushed.
because this is very much, you know, the Exorcist trend movies.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's got all that. You were going to say something, Jeff?
Yeah, the first hint was when you go to his Wikipedia page. This movie is one of the few ones in his filmography that doesn't have a link to an article about it.
Right.
Oh man,
It does feel rushed, and I also rushed with the remote control to try to speed things up a little bit.
Ooh, what you talking about?
I don't know anybody that does that. All right, let's. What we're gonna do? Yeah, I know. What we're gonna do is we're gonna give. We're gonna share when we first saw it. I think you can probably guess when we did that. Then we're gonna kind of discuss the film, and then we'll wrap things up, and then we have some at the end. We have some feedback, right? At least one, sir.
Correct.
Jeff? All right.
Yes,
So I chose this. So should I go first? Is that a rarity where I go first? All right.
Right.
All right. That's Chad.
Not me. Not me. You.
All right. So I really like the Tombs of the Blind, the Blind Dead movies, right? And we've covered a couple of them here, and we still got to get to the rest of them. And I've been wanting to watch more of his work, and I'm looking for the films, and I see this one, and I'm like, let's watch that one. So this was the first time I saw it was this week, and it wasn't the greatest print, but I'm not convinced that hurt the film. I think that actually might have given it a little bit of charm. It is very much of its time because it's total cash in, right? It's totally trying to cash in on the craze. It's some scenes are just blatant ripoffs of other films mixed with this weird witch kind of thing going on. And, we have the child now, so much so the child that they have, Marianne Salgado, she was the voice that dubbed Linda Blair in The Exorcist in Spain. So now she's in this. So I think that just gives you the idea of where their heads were at. Right. Right.
Yeah.
So I'm going to confess.
Careful now.
That despite how bad and awful this movie is, I had a good time watching it because I was laughing.
I knew you were going to say that. I
know you guys are going to say this is total poop, and I can't defend this movie. But it was just like I also love Beyond the Door, and this has more in common with Beyond the Door maybe than The Exorcist. And I don't know. I thought the dubbing was hilarious. We talked about that, Bill, that the dubbing is just so awful. It's probably there's probably better dubbing out there somewhere, but I don't know. I can't even defend my reaction to it. It's just like, was I on drugs? What happened? Because the movie doesn't really do a whole lot. Even when it does something, it's not doing a whole lot, right? So like there's a levitation scene, but it's kind of really bland. And then there's a head spinning kind of scene, and it's kind of like silly. And there's a cross in the forehead thing, and it's kind of lame. Yeah. So it's a mess. And I had fun. Yeah. All right, I'm going to stop there. Chad, sir. When did you first see this, and what did you think of it?
This is the first time I've seen this piece of crap. I'm aware of a lot of movies around that era that just ripped off The Exorcist. They jumped on that bandwagon of The Exorcist. I've never seen this one. I mean, Beyond the Door. The Exorcist is obviously top tier. The Beyond the Door is, down below that, one step below that. This movie is the piece of dirt trapped underneath the doormat underneath this movie. It is.
Wow, that's
don't say wow. Harsh. Don't say wow because you guys know it was not good. This was a hard pill to swallow. It really was. And not only was the acting bad, the dubbing was so horrible. so hard, and it made it so much worse to watch. And it was such a blatant ripoff of The Exorcist, with the priest with the crisis of faith type thing going on, which Bill and I talked about it beforehand. It's just his girlfriend just became a prostitute. Basically, is how that little side story ended up, and I just kept going, man. Howard Cosell, like me and Bill talked about this beforehand too in the chat. Howard Cosell must have really got around back in the day, because this kid, I kept expecting. Well, I've been, possessed by the devil, and and I just kept waiting for Howard Cosell to come out of that somehow or another, and it was just, oh my God, I did not, I just. Normally, I can find some good thing out of a movie that we watch that I really maybe would stand out above the rest, but I can't. The only thing that I really was taken aback by was when they uncovered the old witch and set her on fire.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That was like a truly pretty scary moment, and and pretty good moment, but the rest of it with the little girl was just horrible, with the bald hair. Oh, it's just, and the characters were just, and I don't know, it could be the dubbing. It really could be how horrible the dubbing was that made me turn off from this movie so bad. But I am not a fan of this movie, and I guarantee you I'll never watch this again.
Oh,
never.
Wow.
And I wish Santos was here to say "Mother F" this movie. That's my attitude toward it. This was bad.
Oh man,
this was bad.
There was a baby killing.
There was a baby killing, which I was not impressed by that either. That just made me even more. I don't know.
All right, Bill Mulligan, sir, it's your time. When did you first see this?
First saw it Tuesday. I had never even heard of this film. So I didn't like it, but I mean, I will agree with Doc. I did have an enjoyable experience, but it sort of turned into like a Mystery Science Theater sort of thing quickly, because the print that I was watching was awful. And in the first minute of the movie, the old witch goes into a church and starts knocking stuff down, and then they cut to her going into the church and knocking stuff down again. It somehow repeated itself. It was a weird edit where they had the same scene twice. And my wife's like, "Didn't she just do that?" And I'm like, "Yeah, we're off to the races here." And the dubbing. How do you judge a movie when you're watching a print that looks like it was dragged behind a truck? The dubbing is terrible, and you feel like this can't have been the actual script. Maybe he wrote it in Italian, it got translated to Spanish, and then somebody took that and tried to hammer an English language dub out of it. Because Jeff had a couple of possible quotes for us to do, and they were all solid gold in that they were incomprehensibly dopey, and they didn't sound like what real people would ever say. So, strange little thing. I don't like to pick on a child, but it was a long time ago. Maybe she grew into that face. She's not an attractive young lady in this picture. I don't know if it was that she just has weird looks, or maybe she was an older kid trying to play a little girl. My nightmare is that this little girl and the little boy from Burial Ground had kids. What would that look like? Oh yeah, I know. There's a horror movie right there. I do kind of like the one thing, these really low budget Euro trash movies, the people in it, they're not pretty boys. They're not, those old witches look like old witches. That old witch was genuinely creepy looking, half bald, grotesque warts and moles and everything. She was bad teeth. The police chief, he looked like just some guy they dragged off the street. I mean, everyone looks like real people, real homely people. So there's that authenticity there. But yeah, I didn't get it. I don't know what the whole thing with the priest was all about. That went nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
Unless this is an edited version and maybe there was a sex scene that got cut out. I see no reason to include the girlfriend bit. You know, why was that there? It didn't really seem like he had a big crisis. And to tell you the truth, there's not a whole hell of a lot of story here, because finally at the end, the priest sees a little girl, smacks her on the head with a crucifix. She walks into it, you know. It ends real, like at any point in the movie, he could have done that.
Yeah.
If at any point in the movie he'd taken the crucifix, put it on her forehead, she probably would have fallen down a flight of stairs or got hit by lightning or something, and then when the movie would have been over, because I don't know.
Or the priest's girlfriend should have threw the little orphan Annie wig at her.
Oh my God, that wig.
That may have worked too. I'm not sure.
You guys are killing me. That's so funny. All right. Well, I think we get the picture. Oh my goodness, Jeff Mohr, sir.
Jeff liked it and bought the DVD and Blu-ray combo.
Blu-ray, yes.
Let's move on.
Please tell me there's a 4K restoration.
I was looking for it. I'm in Doc's camp because I was laughing my ass off watching this, just because. I mean, the dubbing was so bad. Whoever wrote the English language for the dubbing, plus the people that were saying it, so there'd be two characters in a dialogue, and it was like it was two different conversations. It wouldn't even match, like they were talking to each other. It was like, and then it was like they said the line in English, but the character's mouth was still moving. So then they go, and that's what. They added that in every time for a couple of syllables. I was dying. God, yeah, it was so inane. And then I think what they did was they said, we need an exorcism movie. We need a make The Exorcist, but you have no money. And I mean no money. So he looks at The Exorcist and says, oh, she's crawling up the wall backwards. So, well, we can't do that. So we'll have her crawl down the hallway floor backwards on her hands and feet. And it just was the dumbest looking thing. And then, well, we can't have her, do the old possessed spider crawl. So they have her look, they try to set it up like she's crawling headfirst down the brick wall. And I don't know what she was doing, but it was the weirdest looking thing I ever saw.
It looked like like on the Batman TV show when they're walking up the wall.
Exactly. So that's where I was on this, and wow, pretty complicated too, because we get the priest, and we meet his ex-girlfriend, and then it isn't. I don't know how far down the road it is, and it
was before she met Daddy Warbucks.
Yeah.
She's a prostitute, and and that's the end of that. So before she met Daddy Warbucks, I and the witch, and I don't know. Now you're gonna think I'm joking, but I'm not. I'm serious. That the girl looked like a girl I dated right after high school.
The little girl?
Yeah, but like 17 or 18, but had that kind of same profile. And I guess maybe there's something in my makeup, but I didn't look at her and go, "Wow, is she ugly?" This
girl looked like
she had the head cap thing on.
Call Muhammad Ali.
No.
Right out of the gate.
Anyway, we can talk about this off camera.
There's no accounting for taste.
No accounting for taste. Oh no, that's terrible. Hey, look! I'm no GQ
I really hope
model.
She's not a horror fan. It goes,
two women married me.
They were after your money.
She was a beautiful woman. She really was, and but this girl is weird. She says the weirdest things. She has the weirdest. Whoever's dubbing it is, I don't know. Was that her? I mean, we didn't hear the voice that dubbed it, right? So that dubbed the Exorcist.
No, so they hired the girl because she was the voice of the possessed girl in The Exorcist. But then she got dubbed by someone else, so there was no reason to have her. Because
I wonder what. I'd like to see a subtitled version of this. But I'm the only one.
Yeah, yeah.
Nobody else wants to watch this again.
You guys, did you watch? Would you watch it on Doc Tubi? You said
Probably.
Yeah,
probably.
that's where I saw it.
I tried a couple different places. I forget which one I landed on.
I watched it on. There's several versions on YouTube, but one of them didn't have any sound.
That's good.
I hit that one too.
Yeah.
They go to the park and everything goes quiet, and I'm like, "What the?"
Yeah, you skip a little ways down. It's still no sound, and then but I finally found one that I thought was kind of a decent copy. It didn't seem too fuzzy, but the dubbing, oh my god! Oh, and what's even better though is you turn on the automated YouTube captions.
Oh my god!
It was coming up with some even crazy stuff.
Oh wow, that would be. Awesome.
Anyway, I feel like that's how the script was done.
That's what was fun. That's what I thought was fun.
I love to hear the dubbing for her cursing because it was so just weird, just throwing curse words together and
the visit to the doctor, just like in The Exorcist. There's all these little scenes that are just like The Exorcist, and it's like, holy cow! I didn't know you could do that scene that badly.
Yeah,
I know. And they went after what? What was the blaxploitation one? It wasn't Abby. It was Abby.
Abby. Yeah.
Well, they went after that one, but this one, I think they could have went after this one too.
Maybe that was part of the thing. I mean, she's not possessed by the devil. She's possessed by the witch. Who's become a demon, aka demon witch child. So they kind of got away with that. So they're really, I did agree that the dubbing was not only bad but occasionally hysterically funny. Like when I felt like there was only like maybe 3 or 4 people doing the dubbing for all the cast.
Oh, that might be true.
And there was one scene where they have the coven of witches, and one of them yells out something, and it just sounded like they were deliberately doing a cartoony voice.
Oh my God! And she would say, the one witch would say something, and they would scream out, "Yeah, what is she gonna do?" That kind of thing.
The newspaper editor. What accent were they going for with that? He sounded like an old time radio announcer.
Who knows? It was hilarious. I don't even know why they were involved. Anyway, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. So we got to talk about the director, right? We got to pause because Bill has provided us with all his other masterpieces.
Yeah. Everyone knows about The Blind Dead,
right? Because we've done The Blind Dead, and we will continue to do The Blind Dead. We will do the 2 that we haven't done yet.
Right?
Blind Dead. I love Blind Dead. I love those movies. I just can't believe this is the same dude.
And I say, even if you took The Blind Dead out of the first one, especially, it had some real good atmosphere, moodiness, good music and stuff and everything, all of which is pretty much missing here. These are 3 of his later films when clearly I think the whole industry was sort of going downhill and the budgets got real tiny. The Sea Serpent is really something, because I love that poster, but boy, the monster they have in that is dreadful. But I do like Night of the Witches or Night of the Sorcerer. Kind of a cool vampire one.
Brujas. Yes.
Yeah, Brujas.
Bruja.
Lorelei's Grasp. But these are all kind of low budget. He's clearly, like I was saying, some directors can still pull it off. When Terrence Fisher, when Hammer was going downhill and the budgets were getting tiny, I still think he was knocking it out of the park, even though he was obviously working with less resources. And some folks, I think some, but then a lot of directors when they do become successful and then maybe hit hard times, the decline is ugly. And I think it's just that once you get used to working at a certain level, you can't even go back to the way you did it when you started out. I always say, why not just go back and make those low budget movies like you did when you were starting out that were so great, but it just doesn't seem to work. But.
Do you think you just lost interest in doing them? Do you think?
Maybe, although when you say this was rushed, that's the feeling I really get. This does feel like a rushed production. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of scenes of just people talking, a lot of stuff that goes nowhere. The stuff with the priest, frankly, just feels padded out. Like, we don't have enough little girl cussing here to make a real movie, so we need to give me another 10 minutes. It's like, well, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like they said, we'll give you a few grand, or maybe not even that much, and you got a week.
I'd be curious if it was like it was just going to be a witch film, and they said, "Hey, we got something here. We can make this an exorcist movie," and one of those things where they shift the script at the last minute. And
I mean, shouldn't this have ended with a big exorcism scene in a room, stuff flying around, and it's instead we get like it takes place in a park, and the priest is literally attacked by a leaf blower. Like they throw leaves at him, just regular leaves, and they hit him, and he goes down like a sack of bricks. And we're like, oh, did they just run out of money? Because that looks like something. It's like, Bill, we got to shoot something tonight. We got to finish this movie. We got to send it out tonight. Well, where are we going? We're going to go to the park and hope the police don't chase us off. Come on, just get some lights. I mean, it really just looked thrown together. So thrown together. The end. Boom.
There was a place where I was thinking that the dubbing seemed like one of those bad lip reading tapes. That's what made it seem so funny, because I was like, somebody went along and made up lines to fit along with what they said. That had nothing. I mean, there's a story there, but wow.
You weren't really sure even what happened to her until the camera panned down.
Yeah. It wasn't shot exceptionally well, that particular part.
Oh my God. Look at this thing. Look at that thing on top there. Look at it.
Yeah, that's what that weird balding wig, and they caked makeup on her eyes and stuff.
I thought they did a pretty good job making the little girl look like the witch and everything. I mean, the makeup's real obvious. Yeah, it was creepy. It's just that the thing is, I hate to keep harping on this, but she was creepy looking before she got possessed.
Exactly.
So it's kind of like Jack Nicholson in The Shining. I mean, he's a great actor and everything, but I think he was miscast because he's terrifying from the get-go. He doesn't look like a guy who's going slowly crazy. He looks like a crazy guy who's going crazier.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So
Linda Blair looked like a sweet little girl, and then she looked like a demon.
Yep. Is that your wig down there at the bottom?
Yes.
Yeah, little Orphan Annie.
Little Orphan Annie, and then okay. So what do we think about this little witch subplot? Because she shows up to cause some grief, and then kind of goes her own way.
What happened to her?
They should have had more with her, I would think.
Yeah, because I thought that was.
Right. She got shot, didn't she? She did.
Did she get shot?
She got shot. Yeah, the cop shot her, but she should have had a way bigger involvement in this movie, a way bigger part. Because I found her more interesting than I did the actual kid and the old lady witch.
Yeah, I thought there was something there, and the part where she's giving her the totem and everything, the middle scene,
yeah.
Oh yeah.
There for a hot second, I thought it was going to go somewhere, right? It was actually going to be,
went nowhere.
Although I did like how.
Oh, wait a minute! It climbed out of the purse and its lights glue red.
I know it was, but the father.
I'm not so sure that was a supernatural totem. You know what I mean? I'm not sure what that was.
We didn't know where to put the batteries. Is that what you're saying?
Right.
But the witch at the top there, who looks like a guy. Sorry, okay. Her scene when she's getting questioned was so funny, dude. And I ended up having to watch it twice for some weird reason.
If she didn't throw herself out of the window, I would have thrown her out the window.
That was a Mystery Science Theater moment.
Oh my God,
that was great.
Please help me find my son, please.
She's like this. She's this withered little husk, and then she does this like Olympic dive out the window. It's like, there's a stunt guy.
And my master. And then my master's going to get you when I tell him to. And that's what.
Yeah. And then when the cop goes up to the window, he touches the thing and it falls apart, but he holds on to it.
So he's hanging on to it.
Hold on to the prop, because don't let it fall.
I'm either really strong or this is balsa wood. Okay. Can we just say, we're used to saying this about these Euro movies, but boy, are these cops incompetent. These may be the most incompetent cops of this one guy in particular. He's got a little old lady who can barely walk, and she manages to run by him and leap out a window.
Oh my God.
And then a little girl shows up with a dick in a box covered in blood, and by the time he realizes what's going on, she's like left, and she didn't run away. She just sauntered off.
Yeah, that's it.
Amazing.
What more do you need? What more do you need, guys?
Oh man! So here's the question.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
Let's take in a box. I know we're gonna watch the other Blind Dead movies.
Yeah.
But are we ever gonna watch the other Ossorio films? No. You're done.
Even if the dubbing was so horrible and the dialogue was good, I'm still not going back to watch it.
You're not going to watch any other film of his? No.
I may throw Night of the Witches at you.
Night of the Witches.
I might watch some other ones. Yeah.
Night of the Sorcerer, whatever it's called now.
Yeah. It's got a couple different. Lorelai's Graft, isn't that kind of like a Hammerish kind of film, or is it?
Which one?
Lorelai's
Grasp. It kind of reminds me a little of this one in that it's actually kind of a cool story, but no budget, needed a really cool monster. And as I recall, the monster wasn't that cool. You didn't get to see very much of it until I don't know. In my brain, it kind of reminds me of the Blood Beast Terror, and that's never an opening line of, so you got to see it.
That's never a good thing.
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
Here's the thing. We've watched the Blind Dead movies and we've watched them, and they're good movies. And we brought it up before. It just seems like this was so rushed and so put together to jump on that Exorcist bandwagon.
Yeah.
That it suffers from that greatly, I think.
Yes.
Because he's a better filmmaker than that. Just from watching the Blind
There's
Dead
no
movie.
extra little touches to it or any attempt to make it seem atmospheric like the Blind Dead movies.
Yeah.
And he wrote this too, so he's got no one to blame but himself here.
That's true. I'm pretty sure, Bill, that you were looking at this film going, I could do that special effect. I could do that special effect better.
Yeah, but also I'm thinking, if people look at this and say Bill could do that special effect, that's not exactly like we should hire him.
No, well, that's not what I was implying.
Could do that special effect. The whole that whole.
I didn't mean to belittle you. That wasn't my point.
No. It's fair assessment. That whole fading into things, that was like pretty.
Well, we got the double exposure witch laying down.
Yeah.
That was hilarious.
Yeah.
What did you think about because at one point she levitates, right? She puts her arms out.
Oh my god!
And it's so obvious how they're doing it. It's kind of awesome how they tried to mask it.
It just looked like a magician. Expected Satan to walk out there. Ta-da!
It did.
There was no purpose to it. No one was there to watch it. So why
do it? Yeah, it raises up and rises back.
I do understand in The Exorcist, she was levitating because they were trying, it was like showing the power of Satan and everything to these priests to demoralize them. It's like, here it's just
there was no one there to watch this levitation.
Yeah.
It also had impact and sound and a couple cuts. There was, this one has nothing. It's she literally. We get a shot of her laying down like this, and then the rest of it's from the side.
Yeah.
I was like, what the hell? But I don't know. All right. We got it. Let's go ahead and wrap this one up. What do you say?
What do you say?
I know
because I don't care about anything else that has to do with this movie.
This has got to be one of the this is my Fury of the Wolfman. So I've done my part. Chad, you've done your part. I think Bill's done one. Yeah. So Jeff, it's up to you, bud, to round out the
quadrilogy.
I had to go back and watch Asylum of Satan to cleanse, for a palate cleanser.
That's incredible. I like that. But this was just a sign of how bad my week was going anyway. So it was just like, okay. All right. Well, so
we've never seen it. So who knew?
Yeah.
So here's what we're going to do. We're going to give our recommendation. You can do one sentence or you can do a couple, you can do what you want. But I want to know, is there anything in this movie? Is there a scene that you actually did like? All right, before we get into that, if you're still listening, we want to thank you. And we hope you're enjoying this review and many others that we have on the channel. If you want to support us, it's really easy to do for free. All you have to do is hit the subscribe button or share with a friend. And that does us wonders. Leave some comments. If you are a huge fan of this film, I want to know.
Yeah, we all want to know.
Give us somebody out there has seen like a pristine original language print, and it makes total sense, and they can share all that with us. Because I feel like, I don't know what I feel like. It's just like, this is not the film they wanted to show me, but I got to see it anyway. Anywho, let's stop there. I guess I get to go first. Oh boy. This is a bad movie. Don't watch this to enjoy a good movie. Watch it if you want to see a bad movie and laugh at it. Even then, you might want to reconsider. But personally, I had a good time. Sue me. Okay, so the part that I know, Chad, it's kind of scary. The part that I knew that I was kind of liking this. I already knew because she jumped out the window and it was hilarious. But when they did the twisty scene, but it was like from the waist up instead of just the head, it looked so bad. It was so bad.
Yeah.
I looked at that and I thought, yeah. Go ahead.
I was like,
I'm sorry.
I love it. That's great. It's terrible.
Wait, it's happening to me right now.
I know. You can do it.
Yes.
All right.
I looked at that and thought, is that what they were trying to do? Really?
They were trying. It does not work in the least. It is but you got to see it. You got to see it to believe it. It's like, what the hell? All right, Chad, tell me I'm wrong. Lay it on.
I'm going to tell everybody, no, you do not have to see this. This is one of the worst movies I've ever seen in my life. Like I said, the only part of the movie that really moved me was when they burned the witch in her grave. Yeah. When they dug her up. That was a pretty intense sequence there. The rest of it, please don't waste your time. Please, there's other things you can watch that would be so much better for you to watch. Please, I'm begging you, do not watch this movie. And that's all I've got to say about it. I don't think I can say any more about it other than that.
Oh, I think we get the point. Bill Mulligan, sir, you got anything to add to that?
Yeah, I mean, I think you can safely skip this movie and still consider yourself a hardcore horror fan. The scene I liked was where the group of little kids find the supposed body of, I guess, the baby.
Oh yeah. Oh,
and so they're like, it's like he just told them, go out there and, I don't know, throw rocks at each other. So these kids are throwing rocks at each other, which kids do not actually do, because if they did, the hospital would be filled with kids. And then she looks down and there's this obvious doll hand. What are you going to tell me? When you were a kid, you actually threw rocks at your friends?
I did.
Dirt clods.
Yes,
yeah,
this looked like they were.
Yeah.
Oh, this looked like they were in the lottery or something. Like they were just picking up rocks and throwing it. And like, hey, where are the grown-ups around here? Where gangs of kids are throwing rocks, finding baby corpses, which look just like dolls, which is what that hand obviously was. I mean,
big time.
No,
but what's great,
so thrown together.
What's great is all they do is gather around to look at it. They don't run off to go get anybody. They just go.
Yeah. Not one kid ran off to get help.
It's like 20 of them.
Again, this is a low budget movie where you just have a bunch of kids like, okay, kids, when she screams and I do this, I want you all to run and go look at the body. And so they all run and they do that. And you can almost hear them say, what do we do now? I don't know. We just stand here and watch destroy the crime scene completely. Right, There's no way the cops are gonna find it. Not that these cops.
Let's roll it down the hill.
Yeah, I mean, the police in this movie couldn't find their own rear ends with two hands and a flashlight, so it's not like they ruined anything.
Oh.
But hey, listen, okay, if you get together with your friends and a couple of 6-packs or some non-domestic tobacco, and you want a movie that you can just sit there, chillax, and make fun of, and if you go off on a tangent and start actually communicating with each other and miss what's going on, you've missed nothing. This is the movie for you.
That's the movie for you. All right, Jeff Mohr, round us out. What's the final word?
And I just have to throw on there on the dead baby's body looked everything like a tiny little doll hand sticking out from under
Oh,
there.
yeah, very much.
No, they didn't even try to make it look.
It was a
Anyway.
doll baby hand. That's
I'm sure it
that's
was.
what
I'm
it
sure
was.
it was. If
You're still going to buy the DVD.
if I was going to say a
Blu-ray
favorite
combo, I
scene,
know it.
That was
No.
probably like a assistant director pickup shot, wasn't it? You think? Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot. There were a lot of
could have
shots
been.
like
That
that.
could have been. If I was going to say a favorite scene, this will sound strange to everybody that doesn't maybe didn't know Santos, but it's going to be the baby killing scene. That made me think, oh, Santos would have liked that. That was the one time I went, oh, that's.
And we mean that with love.
That
We mean
sounds
that with
terrible
love.
to a normal person, right?
Yeah.
But so this is my example of what you want to do. So Bill talked about the cops, right? So the cops interrogating the witch, and the cop says, I don't think your magic powers would resist an injection of sodium pentothal. Do you know what that is? It's a truth serum, that's what. Your influential friend won't be able to help you when a chemical product has taken away your willpower. So
Chemical
if
product.
that sounds interesting to you as a dubbing translation, then go
Oh
for
my
it.
god!
Yeah.
Oh my god!
And it's delivered
Your
just about like
influential
that.
friend.
Yeah.
Influential friend.
Yeah.
All right.
Trying to wax poetic, right? So
Yeah. Could it be Satan?
Maybe.
That's what.
Yeah, that's what.
all right.
In the words of Ric Flair, woo!
Oh my, I never thought we would have that on the show. That's awesome. All right, well, there you go. That's our review of Demon Witch Child from 1975, the film you thought we'd never cover, and now
Don't
you're
do
thankful. Now you're thankful
Don't.
we have, so you won't watch it. Let's give the floor to Jeff once more because he has listener feedback.
Oh.
Okay, so this is from episode 137, Torso, which is, I think, our
Torso.
most recent one.
Torso.
Well, as a matter of fact, this is from Mikey Ortega, and he says, I have to admit, too, that this really did feel like an 80s flick, as you guys mentioned. The promo is also one of my favorites. When I hear the word torso, I always hear the voiceover guy.
Yes.
So you guys fit right into that. Torso.
Sunday.
Yeah. So
It's one of my big regrets in life that people don't use the word torso very often, because if they did, I'd probably do that.
I believe you would.
Yeah, I will. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Then
It's
I'd have
the
to
fun thing to
explain
do.
it. And it's one of those things where explaining it does not make people think any more of you than they did when you did it. So, yeah.
Right.
Oh man, I know what I'm going to do at the next horror convention when I'm at. There's Bill. Hey, Bill.
Torso!
Torso.
We need a PA system. We need a PA system with a microphone, and just have Bill stand out front yelling "Torso, torso."
Some guy with a fuzz guitar. Yeah. It'd be
Yeah.
great. I'm liking this idea.
Oh man, and you do too. All right, well let's get the heck out of here, guys. Thank you so much, Jeff, Chad, Bill, for joining me to talk about this. Oh, Jeff has a surprise for us.
Oh,
Do we?
Do you have a surprise for us? Because it looks like you have a surprise for us.
Well, I
You
have a
look
couple
surprised.
surprises.
uh-oh.
He
Well,
looks
number one,
surprised, but he
did you
doesn't look
mention
like it.
our partnership with
No.
Play Now Media?
Do that.
So it's very cool. Gruesome Magazine, Decades of Horror, the classic era. Gruesome Magazine's partnering with Play Now Media, and you can now see Decades of Horror, the classic era, on the classic Sci-Fi channel from
Yes.
Play Now Media. And they have an unbelievable list of films and tons of serials, tons of really
good cereal.
you could get lost in there forever. So we're really excited. We feel like we
It's available on
big
your
time or something.
Roku, your Fire TV. It's online and on Apple TV.
apps.
So
Yeah,
good.
internet.
I mean, he has everything on there.
Yep.
Everything on there. It's so cool. So cool.
But does
Now
he
we
have
do know
Demon
what-
Witch Child?
I don't know.
He does not.
hope
I
not.
think he might be smart enough to not have that. I don't
There's another reason to get it.
know.
But
We
I
do
think
know
I-
what we're doing next episode too.
Oh,
and what is
What
that?
were
Sir?
you gonna say next? The Haunting of Julia,
Ooh.
also known as Full Circle,
I haven't
The-
seen that in a
the
long.
I don't
ghost
think I've
story with
seen
Mia
it at
Farrow.
all.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Awesome.
Late 70s.
And if we can plug the 100th episode of Classic Era, it's
Ooh.
Yes.
Ooh.
where we'll be covering Frankenstein, the original Frankenstein.
Yep.
Oh,
From
nice.
1910.
Not that
Not
one.
that original.
The original with Boris Karloff.
Oh, look at he's so clever.
Ah! I love you.
But we love it. We're really excited about the 100th episode and hope you guys are able
That's
to
awesome.
do it.
Yeah, and that is the perfect film for the 100th.
It is.
It absolutely is.
Well, and what's neat too is we just went backwards down the decades. The last 5 episodes were 60s, 50s, 40s,
Oh wow.
30s.
Not on
and
purpose. It just happened.
We didn't do it on purpose. It just happened that way.
But it happened that way.
That's cool.
No, we planned it. We planned it that way. You guys.
Yeah. It's all part of one big.
We did.
And the last one we did was the Golem from 1920, which really is a perfect lead-in to Frankenstein.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So check that. So what's cool is you can check it all out. Not only on YouTube, not only on the feed on Apple Podcast, but on the classic sci-fi movie channel. I can say it right.
Yes.
This is why I told Jeff to do it. The classic sci-fi movie channel.
Absolutely.
All right, Chad, Jeff, and Bill, thank you for joining me. This was a lot of fun, even though we absolutely hated this movie.
Well, even if they're bad, we have fun talking about it. So
Yeah.
All right.
I'm gonna go get a slice of delicious pig.
All right. That
Well, that's what.
let's say goodnight.
good night.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.